Is no one else feeling this? Are you feeling this? Dude, do you guys realize that like you're alive? That like being a human is not normal, and that nowhere else in the world do you get to be a human aside of here. And when you're here, you don't hear about anywhere else in the world. You don't know about anything outside of here, and yet here you are. Hello, welcome to my channel. So glad you're here today. I'm glad you can witness this conversation or this chat between myself and I and you. So this is actually a really special video for me, and I was thinking about making this and I thought, oh, I haven't made this yet, how interesting. Because this is a thought that has really just shaken me up. It's just shaking up my entire world. It's shaken up everything. And I was talking, my partner and I, we of course talk about this topic, and we're just like, wait, it's just weird that like people don't stop and like just talk about this on the street for no reason, just like randomly, just like, you know, start talking about this and say, wow, this is how I feel. I can't believe, you know, this is happening. But it feels like no one's talking about it. It feels like no one else is feeling it. So I was like, yeah, video is a great idea. So here we are. And what is this topic? Technically, it can be boiled down to existential crisis. That's what it can be boiled down to, but that's not what it feels like. It doesn't feel like a crisis, really. It just feels significantly more than that, just so much more than that. But ultimately, I realized that not just is everything a concept, but the mere fact of existence is unheard of. Like, ultimately, that's just the mere fact that we exist. Yeah, it's unheard of. The only place we've ever heard about living is here on Earth, where we live. I mean, no one outside of us, outside of here, has ever experienced this. And really, truly, it was like, we are so focused on the materialist world, on the dualistic nature of I love this, I hate this, I prefer this, this is me, this is not me. This is a camera, this is a you, this is Eva, this is a shirt, this is a plant. But it's like, when you boil it all down, where is every single one of these things existing in? It exists here, it exists on the planet. And I feel like for so long I just took that for granted, and I was like, yeah, I live here, and yeah, I have a shirt and everything exists, and this is just what it is. This is my life. I was born, and then I've lived, and here we are. But now it's like, wait, how is any of this even possible? How is anything able to exist? Like, just the mere fact that there is existence, it shook me up. Yeah, that shook me up, that the fact that anything even exists at all, and the fact that everything that exists and that has ever existed, as far as we're aware, has existed here on Earth within the context of us. We're telling our own story. And one of the key things is, you know, we talk about like religion, for example. We say, is God real? Is God not real? Is Jesus real? Is Jesus not real for Christianity, for example? But for me, the other day, I realized, who cares if Jesus is real or not, or if God is real or not? How is it that we were able to even come up with the concept that there is a place where the concept of Jesus can even happen? And the fact that we think Jesus is so powerful that he couldn't have existed, or it's so mythical, it's so fake, or whatever you want to call it, but it's just like, he couldn't have existed. The fact that we were able to come up with such a person that is out of our vision, out of anything we could possibly imagine, It's like, what does that say about me then? If I can think of Jesus, what else can I think of? Who am I? My therapist would be proud of this video, because I remember one of our last few sessions was her just being like, just keep asking yourself, who am I? Who am I? Where am I? Who I? Just keep asking yourself that. And if there's one thing I know without a doubt, is that if you ask, you will get the answer. And it's such a grand question that it ultimately appears to be that you're forever getting the answer. Because every day I find a piece of that answer. But how is it even possible that I can ask, who am I? How is it possible that there is such a thing as love and hate? And how is it possible that there's such a thing as the world? And if I exist in a space that is as grand as the world, and I can exist in that space, then how grand am I truly? Who am I? So for me, I'll probably make a video like this every year. I feel like this is such an important conversation, such an important thing for us all to consider. Before this story slips my mind again, I feel like before this realization, this realization has been happening for about a year, 2 years, a year really. And of course it just gets more deep and more beautiful. But prior to this, I was just living. Yeah, I was just living. I was like, you work, you go to school, maybe you have kids if you want. If you get married, cool, if you want. But it was just those things. You come here and you do those things. But now I'm like, wait, what are those things? I suddenly feel as though that the path that we've all agreed on as a society, it doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit comfortable for me anymore. And I'm suddenly able to see beyond that, that you don't need any material things, that they will not get you there. They will not make you happy. I saw a video of Oprah saying that she realized that none of her material things make her happy. And she's like, yeah, none of them make me happy. And that sentence, in a way, makes me feel like I've lived 1,000 lives, because when you can understand that wealth will not get you there, then you don't need to have wealth to get there. It's almost like you've already experienced wealth. You've already experienced the truth of wealth to accept that you don't need wealth. So yeah, it feels like I've lived that wealthy lifestyle now, where I don't need to live it, because I already know what the results are going to be. And it's not going to be true happiness. True happiness is right now. What I'm doing right now. And so happy I'm making this video. It's so important to me. But yeah, I was living before, but I truly feel awakened now. I feel like, oh, here I am. And that has influenced my world so greatly. It influences how I see things. I can see when I'm spaced out, and I can see myself come back here. I can see myself focus on particular objects, and all of it feels odd, and leads to a deepened ask, and knowing. It's an ask and a knowing of, who am I, and where are we, and what is this? I must say, I don't really seek an answer to this. Who am I? Like, the grandness of it all is all I need to see. Like, I don't need an answer. Initially, I wanted validation. That, is anyone else feeling this too? Like, dude, do you guys realize that, like, you're alive? That, like, being a human is not normal, and that nowhere else in the world do you get to be a human aside of here. And when you're here, you don't hear about anywhere else in the world. You don't know about anything outside of here, and yet here you are. And I'm like, is no one else feeling this? Are you feeling this? But then I realized validation is not necessary. That I don't need an answer. I don't need anyone else to feel this. This is mine to feel, as is everything else. Everything else has been such a personal experience. So for me, it's just awakening to that fact more and more. And because it's easy to forget, because you will think, wait, I exist. And then you just forget again. So it just feels like, even with everything that's happening, even with all of the mixed emotions that people are feeling, with all of the different energies in the world, instead of focusing on all of that, we should drop all of that and just say, wait, we're here. And that should allow us to see the magic of here and to be able to use it, and to bathe in it and to become a part of it. But we're so focused on all of the external stuff, all of the distraction, the fun distractions, the necessary distractions. They're not bad by any stretch of the imagination. They were all necessary for us to get here. It's time for us to make the decision to move forward, to move past it. So engaging and indulging in the things of the world, there is nothing wrong with that. And we've enjoyed it for so long, and we've had so many wars, so many beautiful wars. We've fought them and lost so many lives, and we've learned so many lessons. And all of that was necessary. Still, now is a great time to move past that, to see what else we can become. And if we can come out of all of those images, all of those distractions, all of those attractions, and say, who am I? What do I bring here? Then we stand a very strong chance of manifesting the beauty that is inside every single one of us. It's a grand, inexplainable feeling that one just has to go through, but existence is not normal. We've normalized it. But none of this is normal, none of this is real, none of this is fake. Everything just is, and it's odd, and it's very odd, and I'm so curious. I'm so grateful to be here. I really feel like, wow, I get to experience this. Wow, like, sure, I could be like, I'm chosen, I can't believe I was chosen, but it's just chosen or not, here we are. But there is also that feeling in me naturally that none of this should be here. None of this should exist. There should be no concepts. There should be no things. There should be no food. There should be no God. There should be no devil. There should just be nothing. That's the truth. There should just be absolutely nothing. So while I'm well aware and I'm seeing all this and it's here, but it's like, wait a second. there shouldn't even be an opportunity to see or know anything, or to experience anything. And how strange it is that me here as a person, as a whole person, can be in front of a camera and you can't touch me. Then can anyone touch me? If you behind the camera right now cannot touch me, but yet you can see me and experience me just like someone who is here with me who can touch me, then can anybody touch me? Can you behind the camera touch me, even if you were in front of me? And can the person in front of me right now touch me, even if they're in front of me? Is that a real touch? What's real? Because if it can be so artificial behind a camera, impossible behind a camera, if it's so real, then why can't I capture it behind a camera? All of that just seems odd. Who's to say that I'm not a camera? For me to be able to capture a camera, I'd have to be a camera myself. It's a beautiful path, I'll tell you that. It's existing while you are asleep and not able to tell your thoughts or recognize or see your thoughts. That's cool. It was so much fun, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I can't believe I never get to go back to not knowing, because once you know, you know. But I see why we did this, because the beauty of knowing is its own beauty. So I'm so glad for where I'm coming from and for where I am. But dude, it's crazy that we exist. You should not, this is not normal. The feeling that there is nothing is still so strong for me. I love you. I love me. I love us. I love all that is. How magical that we get to be here. How intentional that we get to be here. Thank you. And we're done.